right, so today we're diving into GitHub Copilot.
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz about how AI is changing how we code these days.
Right.
And Copilot's kind of at the center of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're going deeper than just the basics today.
Sounds good.
We've got 3 recent blog posts we're digging into.
Okay.
And these articles, they really reveal some of Copilot's hidden superpowers, I'd say.
Interesting.
When you first hear about Copilot,
Yeah.
what's the first thing that comes to mind?
It's got to be the code completion, right?
Exactly, right.
Like, that's what it's known for.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Copilot, it helps you write code.
Which is already pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is, but
But it's so much more than that.
that's what these articles are saying, and it's so true.
Yeah, Copilot's reach, it kind of extends across that whole development life cycle,
Okay, so paint a picture for us. What are we talking about here?
Okay, so imagine this. You're working on a project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're stuck on this really tricky CI/CD workflow.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, that's how you automate getting your code from your computer out to the users.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, debugging those,
Uh-huh.
that can be a nightmare.
It's like, for someone who hasn't gone through it,
Yeah.
it's like untangling a giant ball of Christmas lights.
Yeah, okay.
But if one light's out of place, the whole thing crashes.
Exactly. In one of these articles, it talks about a GitHub engineer who used Copilot
Oh, wow.
to fix this really complex deployment issue they were having.
No.
Like right in their CI/CD pipeline, they had been stuck for hours on this thing.
Oh, no.
And Copilot just swoops in with the solution.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about theoretical time savers here.
Right.
This is solving real problems
Yuck.
that developers face every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But, one thing that really struck me
Yeah.
about these articles was that Copilot, it's not just stuck in one place.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it only works in your IDE.
Right.
It seems like it's everywhere.
It is. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
That cross-platform availability, that's a total game changer.
Yeah.
You got it in your IDE command line, even straight up on github.com.
Right.
Doesn't matter how you like to work, Copilot can fit in.
And that seems to be leading to some really impressive real-world results.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the blog posts talked about this developer who closed over 1,600
Oh, wow.
GitHub issues
Okay.
using Copilot.
No way.
1,600. I can barely keep track of my email some days.
Right. That's insane.
What makes that level of efficiency even possible?
Well, it goes back to what we were saying
Okay.
about Copilot being everywhere
Mm-hmm.
and being able to do so much.
Right.
It's not just about doing things faster. It's about changing how we approach development altogether.
And it's not just closing issues either.
Right.
There's this whole other side to Copilot that I think we need to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Copilot chat.
Ah, yeah.
This is more than just like your regular chatbot, right?
Totally. It's
Yeah.
like, imagine having a conversation with your code base.
Oh, okay.
You can ask it questions in plain English. Like, hey, walk me through how this function works, or where's that piece of code I need?
Okay, that's handy, like a superpowered search engine.
Exactly. But just for your code.
So for someone who's never actually used Copilot chat,
Yeah.
can you give like a real-world situation where this would be a lifesaver?
Let's say you're new to a team. You've got this massive code base you don't know.
Yeah,
Instead of spending weeks trying to figure it out,
right.
you can just ask Copilot chat.
Oh, interesting.
Need to know the history of some module? Ask it. Who last touched this line of code and why? Copilot chat can tell you.
So it's not just finding information faster.
Yeah.
It's understanding the context, too.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But let's get into the tech behind all of this.
Yeah.
These blog posts mention some really cutting-edge AI powering Copilot, things like the O1 preview model.
That's the good stuff.
What is that? What makes it so special?
It goes beyond just recognizing patterns in code.
Okay.
It's like it understands the logic, the intent behind what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
This means it can do some really amazing things.
Like what? Give me an example.
One blog post talked about this team of developers.
Yeah.
They had this awful performance bug.
Oh, no.
Spent hours trying to find the cause, like
Probably.
finding a needle in a haystack,
Yeah.
They decided to give Copilot, running this O1 preview model, a try
Yeah.
within minutes.
Wow.
Copilot found the problem
Oh.
and even suggested a fix.
No kidding.
Something that would have taken them days, maybe, Copilot did in no time.
That's incredible.
Right.
So it's like, it's not just automating things.
It's actually problem solving, maybe even better than we can sometimes.
In some cases, yeah.
But is this all too good to be true?
Well,
Is Copilot done, or is there more to come?
that's the thing about Copilot. GitHub is constantly making it better.
They're not just stopping here.
Nope.
So it's evolving.
Exactly. They want Copilot to be a core part of every developer's toolkit.
It's like this ongoing process.
Well, absolutely. Continuous improvement,
I like it.
Yeah.
This is fascinating stuff.
Right.
We've talked about Copilot working everywhere, solving these real-world problems, even having conversations with us through Copilot chat.
Yeah.
What other surprises are hidden in these blog posts? So we've been really digging into GitHub Copilot,
Yeah.
and it's clear that it's not just about churning out lines of code. It's a lot more than that.
It's like this whole different way of understanding and interacting with your code.
For sure.
And one area where I really saw that
Okay.
was in documentation,
Documentation.
which, let's be honest,
Yeah.
it's kind of a chore, right?
Like list of dishes, nobody wants to do it.
Exactly. It's always the last thing on the list.
Right.
But these articles are saying that Copilot can actually change the game when it comes to documentation.
Oh, absolutely.
So how's it doing that?
So picture this. You just wrote this super complex function,
Okay.
and you need to document it so other people, or even you, like a month from now, know what it does.
Right, because we've all been there looking at our old code like, what is this?
Exactly. So with Copilot, you can start a comment, something like, this function calculates. And Copilot, a lot of times, it'll pick up what you're putting down,
Really?
and it'll actually write that whole explanation for you.
No kidding.
What the function does, inputs, outputs, even edge cases sometimes.
So it's like having a technical writer.
Right.
Just like on call, ready to go.
Yeah, built in.
That could save so much time
Oh, for sure.
and probably lead to better documentation overall, because you're more likely to actually do it if it's easy.
100%. And it's not just the time saving, right?
True.
Good documentation. That's key for teams working together.
For sure.
Sharing knowledge, avoiding that whole bus factor problem.
Last factor, yeah.
Like what happens if the one person who understands this code wins the lottery and disappears?
Right. The project grinds to a halt.
Exactly.
So important stuff, but I do have to ask, with all this talk about AI and coding, are we all going to be out of jobs soon?
The big question.
Right. Like if Copilot can do all this, what does that even mean for the future of, being a software developer?
It's a natural thing to wonder about, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think it's more about AI changing the kinds of jobs we do, not making them disappear.
Okay, so how do you see that playing out?
Think about it like this. You wouldn't expect a carpenter to build a whole house without power tools, right?
That's a good point.
They've got their skills, their craftsmanship,
Yeah.
but the tools just make them better, faster.
Right.
It's the same with AI and coding.
Okay, so it's not replacing us.
Not at all.
It's helping us be better at what we do.
Exactly. We can do more, better, and faster with AI on our side.
And probably tackle way more ambitious projects, right?
Absolutely. And this whole idea of humans and AI working together, that's going to be huge moving forward.
So what does that actually look like?
Well, we might see more need for developers who really get AI ethics.
Okay.
Or who specialize in training AI models.
Intriguing.
There's even folks who are really good at designing those interactions, how humans and these AI tools work together.
So it's not just about knowing how to write the code anymore.
It's bigger than that now.
It's about shaping how that code gets made, how it fits into the world.
Exactly.
But we do have to remember,
Yeah.
as cool as Copilot is, it's not perfect.
No tool is, right? Like, it can still make mistakes or suggest code that's not quite right.
So we can't just blindly trust it.
It's a tool, not a crutch.
Yeah.
The best developers will use AI, sure, but they'll also know its limits.
Right. Be able to double check its work.
Exactly. And make sure that the final code is good.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Something else that stood out to me from these articles
What's that?
was how much emphasis GitHub puts on developer happiness.
Oh, for sure.
Like, they really care about that.
Yeah, and productivity, too.
Exactly. So how does Copilot play into that?
I think they realize that developers, we're at our best.
Yeah.
When we can focus on the creative stuff, the problem solving.
Not the boring, repetitive tasks.
Exactly. And Copilot takes care of a lot of that for us.
So we have more energy for the fun stuff.
Exactly. It's about making the whole coding experience better, more enjoyable.
Not just shipping code faster.
Right. It's about the journey, too.
I like that.
Because we spend so much time with code, might as well enjoy it, right?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So we've talked about documentation, how Copilot might change the future of, being a developer,
The whole landscape.
and even how it ties into this idea of developer happiness.
It all connects, yeah.
What else do these blog posts have to say? So we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
From, like, the nitty-gritty of using Copilot to debug things.
Right. Yeah.
To, like, the bigger picture of what it means for the future of software development in general.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. And, one thing that keeps coming back to me is this idea that Copilot's not just a tool.
Okay.
It's more like, I don't know, a partner?
A partner.
Yeah, like in the coding process itself.
I like that.
And these blog posts, they really emphasize that.
Yeah, they do.
This whole idea of Copilot being collaborative.
It's not just you typing away, it's working with you.
Exactly. They talked about how it can help developers learn new things.
Oh, interesting.
Try different coding approaches, even like challenge their assumptions about how to do things.
It's like having another perspective there, right?
Yeah, and not just any perspective, like a really informed one,
Definitely. One article had this example. I thought it was really cool.
What was it?
This developer's working on a project, right? Needs to do these really complicated math calculations.
Oh, fun.
Right? And they hit a wall, totally stuck.
Been there.
So they decide to see what Copilot suggests.
I bet Copilot didn't just give them the answer straight up.
Nope. That's the cool part.
Yes, we do.
It offered, like, a few different ways to tackle it, each one with its own pluses and minuses.
So, like trade-offs between performance or how complex the code was.
Exactly. And then the developer, they could actually look at those options, learn from how Copilot was thinking about it.
That's awesome.
And then pick what worked best for their situation.
That's way better than just, here's the code, hope it works.
Right. Like having a more senior dev looking over your shoulder.
Guiding you, not just doing it for you.
Exactly. And that learning aspect, that's what I find so exciting.
Yeah, it's not replacing anything.
No way.
It's just like taking what we can already do and amplifying it.
And it makes you wonder, where does this go from here?
How does this change, like, how we teach coding?
Right. How do you even define what a good developer is if these tools keep getting more advanced?
That's a whole other deep dive right there.
We'll have to save that one.
For another day, for sure. But I think for anyone listening, the big takeaway here is that GitHub Copilot, it's more than just, it completes your code.
It's a game changer.
It really is. It's this powerful partner.
There you go.
To help us write better code, be more creative, and build some really amazing things.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's an exciting time to be a developer, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Me too. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me.
Of course. Always a pleasure.
It's been really eye-opening, honestly.
Glad to hear it. Until next time.
See ya.